Welcome to Chem 1A, General Chemistry. My name is Dr. Jack Eichler. I'm a teaching faculty in the Department of Chemistry here at UCR, and I'm going to be your tour guide this quarter in the online hybrid General Chemistry course. We're also going to have other faculty involved who are going to be teaching you some of the material, but I'm going to be your direct contact for this quarter. So I wanted to talk to you in this video about what the hybrid course structure is, and then how the course is structured in general, what are some of the learning objectives, and how you're going to get graded and so forth. So hopefully this will answer most of your questions about what the hybrid general chemistry will be. So the first question you might be asking, well, what is a hybrid course? So basically that means some of your course experience will be done online, individually, in an asynchronous format, meaning that you're going to do that online material when it best fits your schedule. You're not going to have a live online meeting of any kind. But then you'll also have in-person discussion groups each week. So hybrid meaning some of the learning you'll do is online, and some of the learning that you do will be in discussion groups. So for the lecture part, so we're basically taking all of the content that we would normally teach in our in-person lectures, and we're moving that into this online format. We're going to have these online modules. So you'll watch videos, you're going to have to do questions that are embedded within those videos, and then you're going to have online quizzes that will be associated with that content. So the goal there is to kind of give you some concept development and some basic skills that we would normally teach in lecture. Then in discussion groups, you're going to be meeting with a graduate student TA or teaching assistant, and there the goal will be to have you working in collaborative groups, so small group learning. You're going to get to practice the skills that you learn in the online modules, and also really think more about the concepts that lie behind those skills, and hopefully we can apply those skills in real world problems. So that's kind of the general structure of the hybrid course. Now, why are we doing this hybrid course? A couple of reasons. One, there are lots of research studies that show that individual online learning can actually be as good, if not better, than traditional lecture material. And the reason is it's related to cognitive load theory, which basically means that if you're trying to learn a certain amount of material in a 50-minute lecture, you're only going to be able to incorporate about 5 to 7 new ideas or new pieces of knowledge in that given amount of time. Whereas if you do that learning in an asynchronous format where you're working at your own schedule, you can go back and repeat those modules as needed, you're going to be able to learn that material much more effectively. Additionally, if you haven't had a course yet here at UCR, I'm sure you will at some point have a course where you're in a large lecture hall with over 200 students. And so hopefully you can imagine that if you're engaged with these online modules individually on your computer, that's going to be a much more effective learning environment than sitting in the back of a 250-seat lecture hall where there's lots of distractions and you're just relying on the passive delivery of information from the instructor. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of background on to why we're doing this hybrid format. All right, so the course goals. So what are the course goals for general chemistry? So now we're going to talk about the Chem 1A, general chemistry curriculum in general terms. So generally we have two kind of main goals. So one are these foundational skills that you need to have as a chemist or as a scientist. So a lot of the skills that we teach will be used in other science disciplines. So dimensional analysis, unit conversions, the basics of chemical reactions, how to do stoichiometric calculations, looking at the mass changes in reactions, molecular structure, so drawing Lewis structures and so forth. So very foundational skills. You're going to use these in later chemistry courses, and you're going to use them a lot in other science courses. And then we try and develop conceptual understanding. So in addition to these foundational skills, we want to kind of help you develop a conceptual understanding, so a deep understanding of the theory that's behind these skills. And of course, the theory that we're going to talk a lot about is the nature of matter, how chemical bonds are broken and formed, and molecular structure and the impact of molecular structure on macro scale properties. So lots of things that you will again encounter both in chemistry and in other science courses. So here's the list of course topics that you will cover throughout this 10-week quarter in the hybrid course format. So this is typical for our Chem 1A General Chemistry first quarter course. So measurement, units, and conversions. And then we're going to start getting into atomic structure and electronic structure. And we'll talk about introductory quantum theory and how that is the basis for electronic structure and chemical bonding. And then we'll talk about how our knowledge of atomic structure and electronic structure allows us to describe how chemical bonds form. And then we'll use that chemical bonding to then build up to molecular structure. Then towards the end of the quarter, we're going to then talk about chemical reactions and stoichiometry, and we'll talk a little bit in particular about reactions in aqueous solution. And again, I just want to note that I will be teaching a lot of these modules, but we're also going to have faculty from the chemistry department who will be teaching some of these topics as well. So hopefully you'll get to meet a lot of our different faculty in an online virtual format. All right, so the course grading, that's described in the syllabus, which you can find in iLearn. But I just wanted to talk about how the grading is a little different compared to a normal in-person course. So again, you'll have these online lecture modules that you'll do each week. And so there are going to be questions embedded within these videos that are called PlayPosit. So they're going to be kind of integrated in the video. So all the PlayPosit questions that you'll do through the whole quarter will add up to 100 points. You'll also have iLearn quizzes that you'll do after the videos. Again, so the quizzes will kind of test you on your knowledge of the content in the video, give you a chance to self-assess how well you've learned that material. All those iLearn quizzes will be worth 200 points. And then your discussion group, your in-person discussion groups, you're going to have these weekly group learning activities. Those are going to add up to 100 points. And then you have 2 midterm exams, each worth 100 points. Those you're going to take in an online format using ProctorU, so you'll get more information on this proctoring service later in the quarter. And then you're going to have an in-person final exam at the end of the quarter during our normal final exam period that's worth 400 points. So these add up to 1,000 points, and if you look in the syllabus, you can see how many points you need to earn to get different letter grade assignments. So generally, it's a kind of a 10-point scale. So if you get 90% or 900 points or higher, you'll get an A- or A. And 800 points or higher would be the B letter grades and so forth. Okay, so what do you need to then complete this hybrid course? So as with all of our lectures or Chem 1A courses, you need a non-graphing scientific calculator for the exams. For the online modules and your homework, you can use any kind of calculator you like, but for the exams, you do need a non-graphing scientific calculator. If you don't have one, you can check those out from the library or the hub. You'll need the OpenStax textbook. So this is a free digital textbook that you can download as a PDF that's provided in iLearn. You want to have that available as a resource. The ProctorU, like I mentioned, is the online proctoring service. That's the only thing for this entire course that you'll have to pay for, assuming you have a non-graphing calculator already. But the ProctorU will be about $20 for each midterm exam. And then, of course, the online module. So you need to have access to a computer or tablet that can run iLearn, and that can run videos through YouTube. So all these videos will be linked through YouTube and through this PlayPosit system. But so you want to have a device that's available, or you want to make arrangements to go to the computer lab on campus, or you can check out a laptop or tablet from the library or the hub. Okay, so just comment about the honor conduct. So again, this is a little different type of format, so I want to just make some points about honor conduct that you need to be aware of. So for the online lecture modules, the PlayPosit questions, we encourage you to do those individually. So the videos and the PlayPosit questions, that's meant to be kind of an individual learning environment. You could certainly work in small groups if you absolutely feel like you need to, but if possible, you want to do those on your own. Then when you do the iLearn quizzes, We don't mind if you work in collaborative groups to do those quizzes. Just remember, you want to work in groups in a way that you're ensuring that each group member is getting some benefit out of that. So you don't want to have one person just do the quiz and then everyone else not think about what's going on in the various questions. So you want to, if you're going to work in groups on the iLearn quizzes, really make sure that everyone is benefiting from that experience. But again, and you can do those quizzes individually if you like. In discussion groups, you're always going to be working in small groups, so collaborative group learning is encouraged. So that's no problem. And then finally on the exams, of course, all the work you do in exams you need to do on your own with no extra outside help. And of course, you'll only be allowed to use the materials which are designated as allowable for those exams. All right, so the final thing I just wanted to mention, because this is a slightly different format than you might have experienced before in terms of this online learning component, we want to make sure you guys are aware of how can you get help. So myself, I'm the instructor of record for this course for the fall. And so I will have weekly in-person office hours. The times and locations will be posted in iLearn. The graduate student TAs will also have mandatory office hours each week, and the schedule of that will be posted in iLearn as well. You're always encouraged to attend those. You will also have undergraduate SIs or supplemental instructors. So these are students who've previously taken Chem 1A and earned a grade of A, and so they've been trained to run additional help sessions. And so you are able to attend those as well. The times and locations for those will be posted in iLearn. And then finally, we want to note that if that isn't enough, or if those times don't work for your schedule, you can go to the ARC, the Academic Resource Center, in the campus over in Sky Hall. So they have tutoring resources, and they have tutors designated for chemistry. And then finally, you'll see in iLearn that there's a discussion board called Piazza that will be created for this course. So we will encourage you guys to post questions in the Piazza. Other students can answer those. And then TAs and myself will also be monitoring all the questions in Piazza. So that's another place where you can seek help. Okay, so that's it. We hope that you have a good experience this quarter, and we will look forward to seeing how you do on your first online module, which will be related to measurement and unit conversions. So good luck.